On any given night, there are 6,000 to 7,000 youth experiencing homelessness across Canada. Research identifies that family conflict is an underlying factor contributing to youth running away or being kicked out of their homes. In a 2016 Pan-Canadian survey of young people who experience homelessness, approximately 80% of respondents indicated that a key reason they left home was because they could not get along with their parents. Canadian policies and practices have begun to shift from managing homelessness to finding solutions. However, we are still missing an important piece: preventing homelessness in the first place. Why must we wait until youth are entrenched in homelessness before offering help? Neighbour Assist is a voluntary respite service for high school students aged 16 and over. It will be managed under the Toronto District School Board, with their social workers acting as its leaders. This partnership between the school board and community caregiver volunteers aims to disrupt youth entry into the homelessness system, a system which costs Canada up to $6 billion a year and results in poor psychological, physical, and educational outcomes. Social workers will recruit caregiver volunteers from within each school based on capacity to offer shelter and basic necessities to a youth in need on a non-permanent basis. Safety screening and interview tools will be developed to ensure that the volunteer caregivers are a suitable match for the program. Outreach in schools will encourage students to speak to their social worker if they are experiencing family conflict and unable to remain in their home. Referral to the program will result in a meeting with the potential caregiver volunteer to determine whether or not they are a suitable match, as well as to discuss the unique needs and timeline of the out-of-home placement. Ideally, a roster of available caregivers and homes will be available in each high school for social workers to connect with as needed. If this program grows in its success, social workers may be able to refer to outside communities in the event that a student cannot remain in their own. The school social worker will provide both the youth's family and the temporary caregivers with whom they are living with counseling and other youth-centered goals, including reunification when possible. This program will be sustained by volunteers, but ideally, funding will be made available for participating families and caregivers on a case-by-case basis. For example, program leaders will collaborate with the Teachers Union to create an emergency grant for caregivers or parents in need. Applications for funding will also be made to the Government of Canada's Youth Employment Strategy program, as well as the Homelessness Partnering Strategy through their Innovative Solutions to Homelessness funding stream. At intake, students' baseline will be measured by their scores on the Student Needs Survey, an evidence-based assessment tool that looks at both risks and assets. After completing the program, the survey will be taken again by students to compare results. These before and after scores will be supplemented by qualitative interviews with teachers, social workers, and other professionals if appropriate. Outcomes such as school graduation rates and statistics on youth shelter admissions will also be valuable in proving effectiveness of this program. Additional partnerships will include the Youth Homelessness Social Innovation Lab Making the Shift, youth mental health organizations, Away Home Canada, child protection agencies throughout the province, the Upstream Project Canada, and Youth Employment Services. Canada has largely used emergency services to respond to homelessness. While these services will always be necessary, our focus should be on prevention of homelessness in the first place. Neighbour Assist is a prevention-focused program that is aiming to reduce the number of long-term emergency shelter stays by keeping youth close to their families, social supports, school, and peer groups. This innovation will promote community awareness of the issue and encourage a collective response and sense of responsibility to protect and care for our youth. Volunteer today and support Neighbour Assist.